Welcome to Tech Talk, y'all.
Hi, and welcome to Tech Talk, y'all, episode 349. I'm Adam Walker.
And I'm Sanjay Parekh.
And as usual, we have a great episode for you today, starting with an article that I'm going to make fun of. And then we've got Weird and Wacky and, of course, Tech Recs for you. So stay tuned for that. They're going to be excellent. There's some really good Weird and Wacky articles for today.
There definitely is. How long has it been since we haven't had a good episode for our listeners? It's been a while.
It's been probably 300. What episode was this? 349. It's been 348 episodes was the last time we had a non-good episode for our
listeners. The first episode you're saying was not ideal.
It's a total wash. Just let it go. So,
yeah. So don't go back and listen to that one.
Yeah. So, all right. Article number one. I'm going to read the article title and describe it, and then I'm going to ask a question. Okay. Are you ready for this? Okay. How, quote, personhood credentials could help you prove you're a human online. So the concept is that you go to a place and you show credentials that you're a real human being with, like, I don't know, say like a birth certificate or a passport. And you get this thing on your phone that would sit sort of in your digital wallet, similar to like a credit card sits in your Apple Wallet or your Google Wallet. And then, when you're on a website or doing something, you can sort of prove that you're a person, not a bot. Here's my question. Don't they call that a driver's license?
Except this is a digital and it would be worldwide.
Right.
Because, they don't have the same driver's licenses we do here in the US.
Fair, but
they do have licenses.
Couldn't they just integrate that into, you're already going to a place, you're already proving you're a human, you're already taking your birth certificate and doing all that. This feels real familiar here. Feels like, really? This shouldn't be that hard.
You could say, isn't this a passport? Like, it's the same thing. But I guess the last bit of it is like actually transferring over the digital ID. Here's the problem I have with this is we know we cannot have nice things.
Yes.
Because people will break these things.
They will.
And what will end up happening is your digital ID will get stolen and then it'll be used by bots.
Right.
And then there's identity theft happening on a digital ID basis or something like that. So
I think maybe what you should do to prove that you're a human is it should just require you to tell a dad joke, because we all know AIs can't tell dad jokes. Like, they're just terrible. So obviously dad jokes are amazing. So as long as you tell an amazing dad joke, you're obviously not an AI. Like, I think that's the rule. So
I thought you were going to go with something more like morbid, like you have to have a reader there and you have to drop a drop of blood into it or something like that. The bot's not going to have blood.
Yeah. Unless you're a Cylon, obviously. But otherwise, so you just do a little finger prick and then drop a thing and then everything's good. I did. Speaking of Cylons, I did just rewatch Battlestar Galactica, and it is just as good the second time through. By the way, as the first time.
The reboot of Battlestar Galactica.
The reboot of Battlestar. Yes, correct.
Not the original Battlestar Galactica from the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
But yes, I 100% agree with you. I should actually rewatch that too, because it is so good. Even knowing what happens in the story,
still so good.
It's still so good. Mm-hmm. Something else you should know and not have it happen in your real life story is this, that Chase Bank quote unquote glitch was actually massive check fraud. And second up, Chase warns against using system glitch to filch cash. It's fraud, plain and simple. So here's the glitch. This was going on TikTok.
All over TikTok. Like, people were like, this is the hack to get free money. Okay, anytime, first of all, if you hear the words free money just together run in anything, that's not a thing. Yeah. If it seems too good to be true, it for sure is. Yeah.
When I was a kid, we toured the Mint and we asked them if they would give us free samples. They don't do that either.
Yeah, they don't do that either.
Even though they're making it right down there.
Yeah.
So here's the hack or the fraud, really. You write a check to yourself for a large amount of money.
Yep.
You deposit it in the ATM.
Yep.
And then you withdraw cash that check. Well,
then that money goes into your account as it should not. And then you go withdraw all the money from it. And it's like, I got all the cash and they can't get it back. Except that when you go to jail, you're going to have to,
they're going to get it back.
So yeah.
Yeah, because that's fraud. And you just deposited a fake check, which is, I'm pretty sure, a felony.
Oh yeah.
Depending on, I guess it depends on how much it is, right? So if you keep it under $100, you might be okay with just a misdemeanor if you're okay with that.
What I want to know is, who was stupid enough to start this? Who in their right mind goes, let me write a check with my name on it and my signature on it for an amount that I know is clearly not in my bank account, and then go deposit that into the machine that scans the visual image of that check, proving my felony, and then go take, how do they not think through the implications of this? I
bet if you get down to it and they find whoever started this whole thing, that they didn't actually do it. They might have taken the money out and then put it back in.
Joked about it or something.
And or maybe let's see how many people we can get to do this and mess them up, right?
Oh my gosh.
So that's the other true thing about the internet. Not only can we not have nice things, but people will mess with you. And maybe you shouldn't believe everything that's online.
Speaking of internet and being online, people trying to access Elon Musk's X in Brazil face daily fines greater than their annual wages. And also tacked onto that, Musk's Starlink defies order to block X in Brazil. So Brazil is attempting to block X from its entire country. And the fine that people are facing for getting on X is, I think, $8,000 a day, which is more than a year's wages for a lot of these individuals. And so Musk is, through Starlink, is saying, look, we're not going to block X. Sorry, you can't control the media here, which I think is a bold move and an interesting move. I don't think it's good that Brazil's trying to block X at all. But
so the reason why is they were concerned about certain material that was on Twitter. I won't call it X, on Twitter, and Musk was unwilling to censor that based on their local laws there. He said, no, I'm not going to do it. Right. And so they said, okay, we're going to just block it. Now, what I find interesting here is I think there's a larger implication because of this action. There has now been an exodus of people because they don't want to pay an $8,000 a day fine in case they get caught.
Yep.
There has been an exodus of people, and it looks like, reading some other articles, that there's two major places they're going to: Threads and Blue Sky, which are both federated systems. Okay. Now, here's the other thing to kind of remember from way back in the day.
Yeah.
Do you remember Orkut, the Google social media platform?
Vaguely remember. Yeah.
It was huge in Brazil.
Really?
It was really part of the reason why Orkut lasted as long as it did, because it really wasn't popular anywhere else.
No, it was terrible.
So I'm wondering if there are echoes of that now because of the activity of Brazilian folks that are kind of trend makers there, that actually could propel some of these other platforms into more success and more of a level of competition. So Musk and Twitter might have really kind of put a nail in the coffin there, potentially. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Maybe for Brazil, I think they're still going to do fine. I don't know if it's going to, they're obviously not where they were previously, but I think it'll be stable, at least for the time being. So
maybe, but this could kind of get the ball rolling
for Blue Sky or Threads
for some of these others where, there's a lot of people. I just met somebody the other day, actually for one of the podcasts we do for Edgewise, for one of our clients, and she was from Brazil. And there's a lot of Brazilians here in the US as well as across the world. Right. And, if that starts picking up steam, then, you never know.
Yeah, you never know
what the tipping point might be.
Yeah. Okay.
Talking about the tipping point, this, is yet another, Starlink, story here. After seeing Wi-Fi network named Stinky, Navy found hidden Starlink dish on U.S. warship. Okay. So here's the thing. So, Starlink by default, originally started out with a Wi-Fi network named Starlink. Yeah. And people were not changing it. So there is actually a tweet from Elon Musk, saying that they're changing the default to Stinky, so that hopefully people will change the default Wi-Fi password.
Right.
So some of these chiefs on a naval vessel did not like the internet access that they have on the boat there, which is very limited, very controlled, and for very good reasons.
Yes.
Because you don't want, secret operational information leaking out to your adversaries while you've got your boat floating around there, because that's not a good look.
Not a great thing. Yep.
So these chiefs hatched a plan to put in a Starlink satellite device with a Wi-Fi network.
Yeah.
And it wasn't approved. It wasn't allowed.
Oh yeah.
And it ran for, what did they say? 15, 18 months, something like that?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah.
Until it was found. And then they were lying about it. And then they were trying to fake the logs of it. And so people have been charged, dishonorably discharged, I believe, fined, sent to the brig, all kinds of things.
It's bad news all around, really.
Just, look, hey, I know you're addicted to your internet access, but when you sign up to be in a organization like the military, like sometimes there's rules that you've got to apply. And there's a reason why here's the funniest thing that I found in that though. They actually talk about an ambassador to Kenya.
Oh yeah.
Who apparently was hiding out in the bathroom using a personal laptop on personal Wi-Fi to access Gmail to do state business, which every piece of that was unauthorized.
So bad all around. Yeah.
And they got caught too.
Yeah.
So also, obviously, if you're not okay being in the like confines of the State Department, like don't accept an ambassadorship to any country because you need to play by those rules, and they're for a good reason. So
there you go. All right, moving on to our next segment here. Bluetooth 6.0 has more security and precision for tracking and finding. This has Sanjay written all over it. So what is happening here?
This is awesome.
Okay.
So 6.0, apparently, I had not realized this was coming out, but the spec has been finalized. It has centimeter level accuracy.
Centimeter
level accuracy for devices. And so some of this is to help fix some of the issues that we've talked about in the past with the man in the middle attack for your keys. So your keys could be inside your house and then they relay it to the car and unlock the car and drive off with it.
Right.
So this would help prevent that.
Right.
Also help you find your keys and stuff.
Yeah.
But the centimeter level accuracy is really, really, I think, interesting because I don't know if you've seen it on some OSs, like Windows has this. If you take your phone away from your laptop, it will lock your computer then.
Yeah.
And so then when you come back with your phone, then it'll unlock, right?
Okay. Sure.
This gives better accuracy for doing that kind of stuff. So
what I really need is like a device equipped with this to put on my youngest child's shoes so
I'm sure
that
those are
we
coming.
can find the shoes. Because I know
not the kid, find the shoes.
No, not the kid. I can always find the kid. He's easy to find. He's only one of two or three places, but like the shoes magically just disappear constantly and they're just gone. It's wild. So, yeah.
I think you just invented a new thing. Kids' shoes with a little thing in the heel that you can pull out. That's a little Bluetooth low energy thing.
I like that.
Right?
Yes.
So then you can take it out and replace the battery if you need to. But then you can also move it to the next pair of shoes. Yeah. So you're not ditching the electronics.
There you go.
Let's get up on that. Let's patent that thing because nobody knows about it yet. So
nobody knows.
Nobody's heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep it between us.
Speaking of electronics that are working really well, strange noises. Strange noises are coming from inside Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. So apparently the speakers in the spacecraft are emitting some kind of odd pulsing noise. As you might imagine, like when you are thinking about a spacecraft, anytime it's doing anything of any sort that it's not, like programmed to do, it's a problem and it's a concern. So, that's what's going on now. It's obviously aliens, I think. Clearly.
Yeah, in my mind, well, either that or sentient AI, like in 2001 Space Odyssey.
That would be a really fun way to start communicating with humans if the AI was sentient. It's like, all right, here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to hide the sentient AI in a spacecraft, and then we're going to do low speaker pulses just to mess with them for a while, okay? And then we're going to take over. Like, that'll be fun. Let's do it that way.
And then we'll start saying things like, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that. Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. So,
first for that sentient AI to learn all the stuff, apparently it'll just leverage Microsoft because Microsoft's recall feature can't be uninstalled after all.
You just should describe what that recall feature is. It's creepy.
Yeah, so recall is a new feature that they are rolling out in Windows 11 that takes screenshots and monitors everything that you're doing on the computer so that it's trying to be helpful. You can ask it things about things that you've done in the past.
Yeah.
But you can't turn it off. So here's the thing. I'm running Windows 11 on my laptop, and I'm very quickly thinking I should be running Linux on my laptop instead. I think that might be happening. at some point soon. I think this whole Windows experiment for me has now ended, and I might be running back to Linux. I'll probably keep Windows on my desktop just because of all the
you'll have to
podcasting stuff that we do, and kind of need that for that. But yeah, I think I'm
creepy, man.
Back to
straight creepy
Linux, because that's not great. You know what's going to happen is there's going to be a backlash on this. There already is a backlash on this. And they're going to walk this back because there's no way, right?
And speaking of the AI inevitable takeover, Apple, NVIDIA are in talks to invest in OpenAI because that's what AI needs is more money so it can take over more quickly. Like that's obviously the solution. So, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Apple's integrating OpenAI into Siri. They want a piece of the pie. I get it. Okay, cool. It'll benefit me as an iPhone user. But it definitely hastens the end of the human race.
So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the next article too, and talk about then both of these in a batch because I think they're linked. Ilya Stutzkever, you did this on purpose. I'm really glad
you got that one. Yeah,
you did this on purpose.
Yeah, I planned it this way. Yeah, yes, thank you for noticing.
Stutzkever, you're like, okay, when is he gonna? Okay, it's this one. Stutzkever's startup Safe Super Intelligent raises $1 billion.
Yeah.
Now, okay, we've talked about this. Like the end of humanity is coming because these AIs are going to take over everything. But doesn't this also feel like magic?
A money grab?
Yeah,
feels like a money grab.
Like those augmented reality headset, that raise almost this amount of money, like $600 million magically, and then went away. Right? Yeah. Doesn't this feel like that? Like that's what's happening here?
Okay. So so first of all, this person was the chief scientist at OpenAI. Okay. So a lot of credibility there. So if I'm the former chief scientist of OpenAI and there are concerns about the safety of OpenAI, obviously what I need to do is found a company called Safe Superintelligence that may or may not have anything to do with being safe with superintelligence. And man, I can get some serious cash in the door that way. Like it feels like it's like a marketing play. It's a brand. It's a brand play. It's such a good brand play. That's all I'm saying.
It is, but I feel like in a few years, a lot of this stuff might just implode.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we'll see. Seems likely.
I mean, I guess if it's Apple and NVIDIA's money, it might not matter because they have just wheelbarrow fulls. Wheelbarrow full is not even the right. Dump truck fulls.
They've got Scrooge McDuck money vault swim in the coin full of monies.
I think Scrooge McDuck in relative terms to Apple and NVIDIA is like you and me.
Is like a pauper. Right? Yeah. That's true. Yeah, like for sure. Yeah.
Super poor because the amount of money these folks have is just
unbelievable.
Ungodly.
Time for the Weird and Wacky segment.
Abominable snowman.
He's not an axe murderer. One of the TAs turned out to be a bot.
All right, first up in Weird and Wacky, we have 3 for you, so stay tuned. First up in Weird and Wacky, did your car witness a crime? Police may be coming for your Tesla. So this all happened. There was somebody, I think from Canada. He went, I forget which city it was in the US. And his Tesla was parked in a parking spot across from an RV where a man was shot. And so the police sought to impound his Tesla that had nothing to do with the crime, specifically because they thought it might have captured video of the crime, which to me also seems really dumb because this video is not stored locally on the Tesla, is it? I mean,
it is. Actually, they say that in the article. I didn't realize that. There's a USB drive in the glove box.
Okay.
Where it's all stored. Which makes kind of sense, right? Because if you have 1 million of these cars on the road and they're all uploading over the network, that doesn't make any sense, right? So it's basically like a little black box recorder on board there. And those are recording 20, and we've talked about this before where and they do get images back at Tesla headquarters, whatever. Because we've talked about these people that have walked up to their cars and they're nude or whatever in their house, but the car's recording all the time and it's uploading all that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So this is a little concerning. Like this is an ongoing, privately controlled surveillance state where the cameras are moving all the time.
It's basically the Ring doorbell thing we've been talking about forever, but mobile. It's mobile Ring doorbells where they can just get all the stuff. I mean, it's crazy. But imagine owning a car and you just happen to be in the wrong place. It happens to be parked in the wrong place at the wrong time. And now your car's impounded. Like that's crazy.
Right. Yeah. It's, yeah.
So
like it's not even if you happen to be there and witness the crime and they ask you for like a statement, you just be like, oh, I didn't see anything or whatever. If you didn't want to get involved. Now it's like, no, that's your car. We know it's recording. So it's ours. We're subpoenaing it. And, if you're not willing to give it to us, then we're just going to take the car.
That's crazy.
And then we'll deal with it later when we, are able to get a subpoena from a judge or whatever. So,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Something else that's crazy, is apparently Navy's training animals to do things, but a Russian quote unquote spy whale found dead off Norway.
Yeah.
So I smell foul whale play.
So much here. First of all, it was theoretically a Russian spy whale because it was found, I think, in 2015.
Yeah.
With a GoPro attached to it. But the GoPro had a label in it that said product of St. Petersburg. So here, property. So here, okay,
yes.
For once, if you're a spy organization, you're not going to put property of St. Petersburg on the device that's strapped. Like, come on, let's be real here. Like, that's not like the Russians might do stuff that we think is crazy, but nobody's that crazy. So, you never know, right? Like they might have been like, who's going to find it? Right. I love the whole strap a GoPro to sea life approach. Like I feel like they've done that. I think that's not the first time that's happened. I think it's been done with dolphins and things like that. Just like, I love that approach. But anyway,
actual marine biologist people have done that. With like sea lions and stuff and have discovered things and mapped places that we have never seen before because sea lions can go places that we cannot. It's super fascinating.
But then, I mean, was it foul play? That's really the question. Like,
I think, I think there might have been some action.
Who took out the whale? Who
took out the whale? Like, was it one of our whales that lured their whale?
Yeah, that's what it was for sure. It was a honey pot. Do they call that a honey pot? You lure them away and
honey whale?
I don't know.
A honey whale?
All right, next up, and we're like the last one. Scientists grew a mushroom into this robot to act as its brain. Subtext because they want to bring the end of the world sooner.
Yeah, so we're not going to just die with sentient AI robots. It's also going to be the mushroom robots that are going to kill us too.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Mushroom robots. Yeah.
I mean, I read this article and I was like, I still don't know if I understand what the goal was in this. I'm not sure what's happening here, but it was interesting.
I mean, other than to cause terror, you don't get that part. Cause terror.
Yeah.
Like this is the next horror movie. The mushrooms are alive and they're robots. And
it's actually going to be my Halloween costume. I'm going to be a robot with a mushroom brain. That's my Halloween costume. So, get ready.
Mushbot. Is it Mushbot? Mushbot. You're a Mushbot. Mushbot. Yeah.
Tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
Tech wreck. Chicky.
Tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
Okay, Adam, it is tech wreck time. What do you have for us this week?
All right. So I've recently volunteered to step back into the nonprofit that I founded in 2015 called 48 in 48. And we build 48 free websites for 48 nonprofits in 48 hours. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to lead that team again on a volunteer basis is to implement Basecamp as a project management tool. So I haven't used Basecamp in years and years and years. It's working pretty well so far. It has this one feature that is so similar to TogetherLetters that it's kind of crazy to me. Like, so every day, the team gets an email and it says like, what's your priority for today? And they hit reply, they answer the email, and then it loops that right back into Basecamp. And so I can see what everybody's doing, working on for that day. So it takes the place of a stand-up meeting. And I'm like, that's an interesting use case for TogetherLetters. Maybe we should be thinking about that a little bit. So I'm recommending Basecamp as a whole because it's a pretty good product. But this feature in particular, I find particularly interesting and useful.
That is interesting. So stand-ups for maybe people that don't use Basecamp and
a team stand-up email. Yeah. So it's like if they answer the email by 9 a.m. by 9:30, you know what everybody's doing, sort of thing.
Right.
So, kind of an interesting idea.
Interesting.
So. All right, Sanjay, what's your tech rec for today?
So mine's a little bit techie, nerdy, and
I was really hoping that was the case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's called Tailscale. I just kind of dug into it. So there used to be something else that I used called zero tier. And basically what zero tier was and is, it still exists, is a networking way that you can tunnel a bunch of machines together to be on their same network. So you can move machine to machine, even though they're in different places, you know, behind firewalls, whatever. Kind of hard to set up a little bit. And in some use cases, it doesn't exactly work right. Tailscale is the same kind of thing, but using some open source software like WireGuard to make it all work. So I've set this up and it's actually really, really well done. There's a web interface that sets it all up and you can run this on your phone, Android or Apple. You can run it on your laptop, Linux, Windows, Mac. You can run it on servers, whatever it is. You can run it on devices like Home Assistant, which is what I use for home automation. And then from anywhere, you can talk to any of these machines, which is super, super fascinating. But more broadly, if you're, you know, running some kind of software program or, you know, development, and you've got servers on Amazon Web Services and you've got other servers somewhere else, you can tie all of these things together on an encrypted network. It's end-to-end encrypted, so nobody can see anything. And it's also peer-to-peer based. So it actually does not rely on central servers like zero tier sometimes does. Right. They can actually make end-to-end connections unless they're like both behind firewalls and they need a relay to kind of pair them together. But it's super, super fascinating. And like I said, I got it working in not that much time. And I'm super impressed at how well it works. And the speed and the performance is fantastic.
Okay. So this falls under the category for me of that's really cool. I cannot imagine a scenario where I would ever use that. Like that's the, that's the
100%. This tech rec is for, my tech nerds out there, that want to try something else out like that. Or also if you're running an organization and you come across this problem of like, oh, we've got machines at different places and we need them to talk to each other and it's hard to make that all happen. This is a simple out of the box way to do it. This tech rec is for the hardcore chief technology officers of the world. Pretty much. Congratulations. VP of technology, you're welcome to. Everybody else, just smile and nod and try to look pretty. That's neat. Now I know what Tailscale is. I'm never going to use it. But if anybody ever says something about it, I'll know what it is.
I'll know what it is, and I'll be able to smile and nod then, too.
Smile and nod.
All right, Sanjay, how can our listeners find and connect with you?
They can find me at sanjayparikh.com. What about you, Adam?
Find me at adamjwalker.com. And quick promo, if you're not using TogetherLetters for your check-ins with your team, try out TogetherLetters.com. It's free for teams of less than 10, and give it a shot. There's no harm.
Yeah.